Welcome all you marine heads. I'm Shoran and I'll be your host for the day. Today, I welcome you all to an exclusive interview with Captain Purnendu Shorey, a man for whom I literally had to write down on a card all his intros. So here's his intro. Our guest today has served as a deck officer and master for 15 years. He was a senior manager at ISF Maritime Services, head of crew management, and group training manager with ASP Ship Management. He has served as the head of technical services, Murray Fenton, India, and training manager with Baby Ship Management, and is currently working as the co-founder and director of Offing Group Private Limited. Please welcome Captain Purnendu Shorey.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure being here with you, young fellows.
Sir, we are honored to have you at Marine Monks with us, sir.
Yeah, I've seen a bit of work what Marine Monks does, and I'm amazed at the kind of energy you'll have and the vision that you have. And I truly want to follow you guys and see how you all take it from here.
Okay, so I'm sure you all are very excited to listen to him. So for you all, we've got some personal questions as well as some very important questions planned out. So stick with us. Also, like, share, comment, and subscribe to Marine Monks. Here we go. Okay, sir. So for the very first question to you, let's start from the very beginning. How did you feel interested towards the seafaring profession? I mean, how did it all start for you?
Okay, so I am actually one of the 17 seafarers in my family. So,
wow.
So we are a family that's full of mariners. And when I finished my 12th standard, there was a sort of a dilemma. My parents wanted me to be a doctor. And I mean, all I can say is many lives are saved because I'm not a doctor. I actually wanted to pursue my business management at that time, but I'm talking of late 80s. And it was very rare at that time that somebody could talk of doing an MBA, which is now in vogue. So obviously I was shunned down. And then the third option, which was there, was naturally in our family was to let's send the boy to sea. And our pre-sea training used to be very brief at that time. It used to be just 3 months. And we had to do 36 months at sea. So there I was, I got selected. I was an Anglo-Eastern cadet. So I got selected and I did my pre-sea training and in 3 months. And then just a few days after that, they threw me on the ship and that's how the journey began.
Wow. I mean, you being a doctor, I just can't imagine. I mean,
yeah, neither can I.
How different your life would have been. So you've served at the sea for such a long period. And so can you recall some of your memories, the memories that have stuck with you, especially a good one and also a bad one?
Oh yeah, the good memories, and as cliche as this may sound, was I fell in love when I went on the first ship with the ship as well as with a girl, because the ship was in Hamburg in Germany for a few months, and we were tied up to the Dolphin. And those days you could literally go ashore much easily than you could today. That's a fantastic memory. And after that, another interesting memory was something actually which I think should be brought back is I actually happened to sail on a cadet ship where we were 12 cadets. And we had a separate cadet training officer on board and apart from the entire ship's crew. And that's a fantastic memory because we were all young, we were all roaring to go. We were given the opportunity to learn together, to finish our sea time, very, very important to be able to finish your sea time and then come back. So that was another good memory. And I'll just give you one more. I think probably one of the greatest memories is when I got my command, because it's sort of culminating what you started with, more than a decade ago. So these are the 3 good memories I can share. And I don't really call it a very bad memory or such, but the first day that I joined the ship, it was winter. We were in Germany, and I lost my bags. My bags didn't reach the airport, and they reached the next day. And when I went on board, the chief officer said, "Wow, so we've got some guy here who looks like an actor and who doesn't even have his overalls with him." And I was given overalls, and I was given a chipping hammer, and this is at about 1600 hours. And I
Okay.
knocked off the next day in the morning at 8 a.m. So you can do the
Okay.
math. And I was chipping all
Exactly.
night. I was chipping all night. And in the morning when I came, he said, "Let me see your hands." And obviously there were blisters on the hand. And all he said was, "Not good enough. Go have your breakfast and get back to work." So, and yeah, and so it's not a bad memory, but it's just a memory that's a bit painful. I mean, my hand still
Yeah.
pains. And the gentleman I'm talking about here is actually, well, he's obviously way senior to me, but now he's more of a friend. He heads a shipping company, and
Okay.
whenever we meet, we do have a laugh about it. So yeah, that's one of the things I can share with you.
That's just so amazing, that entire journey from him being your senior to now you being good friends.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah,
amazing. And also you had that Shipne Banati Jodi kind of a thing, huh?
absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, so for your third question, seafarer's life can feel lonely at times. I sure you'd agree to this. And masses do sway away from taking this as a career, or they quit very early due to this factor. So, what would you suggest them? And also, how did you keep your mental health intact for such a long period?
So generally, by and large, I'm an extrovert, and it's very difficult for me not to connect with humans. I feel all the energy that I get is actually from the other people. A lot of people ask me, "How do you do so many things at the same time?" And I always say that it's not me; it's just the energy I get from outside. Of course, we were a tad more number of people on ships those days. We used to be about 30, 35 people on board. And there was a lot more socializing on board. And I was the guy who was snitching another extra yogurt or a chapati from the galley all the time, and running down to the engineers and trying to learn about the engine room, etc. And that stayed with me. So throughout my sailing career, I was an extrovert. I was very interested in organizing sports on board, singing competitions on board, etc. And in fact, that still follows on with our attempt at Nautica, which is
Yeah.
well now the largest inter-college festival. And I
Yes,
felt
sir.
that I felt that that is one thing that helped me to not really be a loner on board. And although yes, I did miss my family, especially in the later years when I got married and I had a child. But that said, the general mindset was to, socialize with the people on board. I'm not a good reader. I can't really stick with a book for very long. I fall asleep. But I still found my way out. It does get lonely. It does get lonely, and
Yeah.
one has to find their zest, their zing, and kind of spice it up if you like.
Yes, sir. So you mentioned about singing competitions. Can we have you singing just two lines, sir, for us? Just two lines of any song that you
Yeah.
remember, a
Well,
song that's
oh,
close to you.
I remember a lot of songs. I sing a lot, so maybe this is not a song that should be sung right now. But yeah, actually, I can sing something romantic for you from my parents' time. And here it is. It's a song that was shot on Devanand. It's a very famous song, and it goes like, "Abhi na jao chhod kar ke dil abhi bhara nahi." Yeah, that's about it. Yeah.
Wow, you have an amazing voice, sir. To be very honest, amazing voice you have.
Problem is I know I do.
Okay. So, sir, you have been recognized as the IMO consultant for green ship recycling. And so, congratulations on that, first of all. And
Thank
how
you.
was it like? What is your role basically?
So I was in Greece. I was attending a conference on ship recycling about 4 or 5 years ago, and I had given a presentation there. It was actually a tongue-in-cheek name to the presentation, which everybody laughed about because I had called it 50 Shades of Green because everybody talks about green ship recycling, but the problem is that the understanding and the levels of the color of green are not very well understood. And things have changed. Things have changed. Ship recycling has definitely come a long way with a lot of scope of improvement still. And when I finished that presentation, there was a gentleman, a very senior gentleman from IMO, who was listening to it. And he came up to me and said, I would like to have a chat with you. And we discussed. And then he said that this is the kind of message that as e-rostered consultants for the IMO, we would like to take forward. And that's how the journey began.
You're also, as I already mentioned, you are the co-founder and director of Offing Group. So what was that eureka moment when it all clicked? You stumbled across this idea.
So as you grow up to be a sailor, and many of you over the years, so you sit down with friends, and Captain Anupam, who's my business partner, we knew each other for a while, and I was heading another ship management company. He was heading another ship ownership company, and we would meet up everything from a coffee to a beer. And one day, I still remember, this was without a beer, thankfully. He called me up in the afternoon and he said, let's meet for lunch. Uh, I didn't want to go on a date with Anupam, obviously, but I said, all right, let's meet. And we went out. And I think that's probably the only time we ever had, we had a soup for lunch. And he said, the usual cliched statement which people use is like, chal kuch saath mein karte hain. So I said, yeah, we should. In fact, I have an idea. And we took out the tissue paper from the table and we started scribbling on what all we could do. 1 hour later, we finished lunch and we went up to his office, and we sat down in the conference room and we said, let's think of a name for a company. It started with something as stupid as P&A Associates, P being Purnendu, A being Anupam. And then it started going to a mix and match of our children's and wives' names. Then it started going to some, offbeat names, till I actually said to him that, we should think of offing. And like everyone asks us, so what is offing? And it's a navigation term.
Actually, I had that on my questions, like, what is this offing? So it's good that I'll get the answer to it.
It's a navigation term, if you actually look it up, as they say. It used to be used in the 16th century. And even now, if you do read of some plans, you will always say that X and X thing is in the offing. So when you stand on the shore, as far as you can look into the sea, into the horizon, is in the offing. So the word offing came from there, and basically the idea being not to limit ourselves or what we do in any way. And that was the birth. That was in 2015. That's almost 6-7 years ago now. And yeah, since then it's been a lot of fun.
And you actually are an inspiration for many people who look for going on with entrepreneur skills after they finish off with their seafaring journey. So you are a true inspiration to many. So my next question is with that only, that what is that one thing that motivates you to keep going and not become passive with what you have achieved?
So like a lot of young people, maybe you guys, I share one thing with you all. I have a very little attention span. I cannot stick to one thing for very long. For the lack of a better word, I get bored. And when we started offering, there was one thing which we agreed on, is that we will do many different things. There's revenue generation is one part of any business. And then there is the hard part of the business. So we decided to, split ourselves into various sectors of the maritime business. And so we have. So I think what keeps us going is the ability to improvise, is the ability to do things which we think of. We fail sometimes, we succeed sometimes. We do horribly at sometimes, and we do some fantastic work at times. So I think it's because we have a bouquet of things that we do. That's what keeps us going.